Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the mobile home movement. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Mobile Home Movement. And today we have a special edition. We have a guest here that is apparently famous on social media in mobile homes, and it's kind of exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about her marketing strategies for her clients. We're also going to talk about a new mobile home park that we don't often work in, but had kind of started to really get involved in. So let's get started. And today we have, what's your name again? We have Sunny Mach here, who is an agent and helps so many people. So thanks for being here.
Thanks. What's your name again?
My name is Franco Perez, and I'm the host. Well, let's talk a little bit about, one is you've been growing here. We have other episodes. Mm-hmm. You're a great agent here. You've helped so many people. We don't have to dive too deep into kind of your background into this because we have a whole episode to that too. But let's get into context about this mobile home park, Tropics. It's a beautiful mobile home park. Tell me about that park. Where is it? What about it is cool to you? And then we'll get into the clients that you've had there.
Yeah, so Tropics is located in Union City. It's a 55 and up park. It's one of my favorite parks to work in because even though it has a very low turnover rate, just because for a variety of reasons, and I really contributed to the management. Every time I've worked in the park, management has just been super easy and super nice to collaborate with. So we don't get a lot of business in the park just because there's not a lot of listings that pop up in the park.
Uh-huh. Well, outside of transactions, I think the gist of this conversation is really the beauty of the sense of community in this park. Because, what's beautiful about this is that you can tell that, like you said, the management cares about this community, and not just the management, the resident association are very connected.
Very
and it's a
active.
55 and over community. Mm-hmm. Tell me about how active they are. What do they do? Why would somebody that's 55 and over want to consider this place? Describe the mobile home park itself. Yeah,
literally so cute because they have such an active residential social team. Uh-huh. Just really cute. So they do brunch, they have events, they have the ping pong club that we saw. Yeah. They're just really active, and it feels like every time someone needs help, they just come to the office, and there's always someone that's willing to help with because I know we'll get into it, but right before close, I needed help installing a carbon monoxide alarm, and I didn't know how to do that. And then the handyman the maintenance man just met me there and just helped me.
That's awesome. So. Yeah, I think that's one thing that's really hidden about mobile home communities is that that key word is that there's a sense of community.
Yeah.
And everyone there knows another person. This guy, if he can't do it, there's a landscaper guy down the street. Mm-hmm. He does a great job. We trust them. And it's really like a small town vibe, right? And they have putting greens. They have swimming pools, hot tubs. When we were there, we saw people playing ping pong. Mm-hmm. And then they have events. They have cultural events. They have a Mardi Gras coming up. Mm-hmm. They have donuts, I think, every week or something like
every
that.
Sunday or every other Sunday at 8 a.m. there's brunch. So that's really cute.
And I think they have a Halloween party, a Christmas party, a Thanksgiving thing.
I keep saying cute because it's just I know that when you're 55, after you retire, there's a sense of loneliness because there's you don't really go out and socialize as if when you're working and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I love Tropics or just mobile home communities like this where they actually give events for residents to come out and socialize.
Yeah, and we definitely have to put clips in this video of the actual community because it is beautiful. And you can tell from just talking to the community that they love it as well.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I've never been a big proponent, or I haven't been an expert of myself. I know a lot of people think I am, but that's social media. And I'm always like, these leads are not real leads, whatever. And lo and behold, you had a senior community listing off of your social media.
Yeah.
So what worked or what happened, I guess?
I don't know what worked because honestly, because
We're very real on this show.
Because you're not a fan of social media too, and I feel like it wasn't my priority. The most I do is I will post whenever we close. So that's what I had in my bandwidth last year. So what happened, how I got this listing was the son actually found me on social media on the Explore page because he was already looking at mobile homes, just like companies, helps and whatnot. And then I just popped up. So I think like my consistency in posting actually paid off because I have paid nothing in advertisement. So
that's cool. Well, that's awesome. And so tell me about that transaction because they reached out to you on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was the story behind this?
Yeah, so the mom actually passed away, and the son inherited the home. But he already has a townhouse like a block and a half away from the mobile home community. But also on top of that, he wasn't of age. And this is where like the park manager was so nice. Usually, I've heard stories where when the 55 or the elderly person passes away, they're kind of forced to sell the house right away. But the management team at Tropic was just like, just take the time that you need where you're not in a rush to sell. But ultimately, he took a month off, went to Hong Kong to pay respects to his mom, and came back and listed the home because he didn't think that he was going to move into that community.
Yeah. And what I realized with that is, he met you, he trusted you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got the listing set up.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of work that has to be done in a listing. And people don't realize with mobile homes, there's a lot of work that needs to get done.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, he trusted you. You got it all set up. You got access to the home. Mm-hmm. And you did all the vendor work as far as like, hey, management, what do I need to get fixed?
Exactly.
Hey, I need to get XYZ fixed. Who can I find to work with this?
Mm-hmm.
You worked with multiple vendors to get this done.
Yeah,
right?
so it was a beautiful home, but a lot of hiccups along the way. One of it was there was an active leak for who knows how long behind the refrigerator. Mm. So we couldn't get the refrigerator like out because the subflooring sunk in. So I hired a handyman, and thank God he does. Oh, I keep hitting this. Thank God he does bouldering for fun. So his grip was like really good. So he was able to move out the refrigerator, and then we had some contractors come in to analyze.
Was this found on an inspection or something? Yeah.
So it was an inspection, and then we thought it was just like, oh, maybe there's termites, like, oh, like it's normal, it's California. And then it's like, no, there's like mold and dry rot, and thank goodness no termites though. But it was extensive, and I didn't know how to turn off the water supply. So I learned something new that day too. But all in all, after all the multiple hiccups, like we were able to close, and the seller was really happy.
Yeah, so. And what I loved about that is, he was able to travel to Hong Kong. He already had a lot to deal with his family passed and being out of the country, and you're managing all the big problems outside of that, right? What was kind of key to getting that home sold, you feel?
So he wanted a quick and easy close. He was really flexible on the pricing, which made things a lot easier for me. You know how sometimes there's sellers that kind of overprice their home, so it's a little bit difficult. But on top of that too, even after discovering the damage, he was more than willing to make things work with the buyer to keep the deal from going. And I just love how not only he wasn't hands-off, but he was really trusting of me throughout the entire process. So I was able just to manage everything from A to Z, which I really love. I actually love the project management side of a real estate transaction. So all I had to do was just manage the vendors, make sure everything was complete, and just give him an update.
Got it.
So
cool. No, it was actually really cool because I met with
Clement.
Clement, your seller. He was ecstatic. He was so happy, right?
Yeah.
And even though he was very flexible with pricing, you still did a lot to get that marketed and negotiated the highest price for them.
Yeah, we were only on the market for 4 days before we accepted an all-cash offer.
Yeah, and that was amazing. And I know that meant a lot to him because I felt it from him when he did our video testimonial.
Yeah.
And he was so happy. You guys did celebration with confetti and that sort of thing. And then also it was like, hey, this is going to be on your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. I thought people were shy and it was like, we have to try to get them on our stuff. But he was like, I want to be on your Instagram. And that was really cool to kind of see that.
Me and my 40 followers.
Which, I think that's part of the cool stuff about this journey and this podcast is, it's watching you grow. It's seeing the story behind Sunny and having you be able to help more and more families like this. So, I love that you did the video tour of Tropics. If you haven't seen it, watch that video. And with that, I think I see you growing well in that community because, you got to know a lot of the neighbors and that sort of thing too. And doing good for that family helps a lot. That's actually your second transaction there, right?
It's our second transaction in the park, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully more, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It just makes me happy because especially with this transaction, it was from, as I'm growing with the team, sometimes it's a lot of it's like, oh, I know you from Franco, and that's where the trust is built. But I feel like this one is one of the first ones where they're like, we found your Instagram. It has no association with you and your business, which just makes me feel like, okay, maybe like I actually feel that I can provide value with my experience. Yeah,
I guess, that's really all. Anything around Tropics or anything that you've kind of learned in the past month or so that you feel is like valuable to residents that, this is really a residents focused show. What are things that mobile homeowners should kind of keep an eye out for and that sort of thing around us?
I think it's always important to know the value of your home. So even if you're not planning to sell anytime soon, what I like to do is I send mailers or I talk to the neighbors after we close because they always want to know what's what the house sold for, just things that's going in on the park. So anytime that there's let's say any listings or mailers, I think at least once a year it's important to know if you gained equity or gained value in your home so that when you do go to sell it, or if you go to sell it, you can compare and then use that thing like that number as a reference.
Yeah, and with knowing the value of your home, you know what decisions you could, what's best to make if you did have to make a decision. And, what's cool is that Sunny does market and analysis for mobile homeowners. So that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on this show. It's been amazing having you, and everyone's excited to watch your journey grow.
Cool.